Right, good morning. Today is Monday, and we are live on our show on this episode. And the title that I'm going to discuss today is about the word simbahan. And the Catholic are a very fanatic or very uh, what you call this. They tend to think that they had a strong conviction that the Jesus had established simbahan. So in other words, simbahan is a structure, a building. And you can also read the message, the explanation of the word simbahan if you have to search it on Google right now and uh, try to see it also in the footages or the pictures on it, and it will reflect actually the building, the simbahan in Tagalog, and they translate it to mean church. So which church is different thing. Church means people in the biblical perspective. Church are a group of people. They are normally specifically referred to the people of God. They are not building. In Tagalog, you cannot call the people simbahan. How can people be simbahan? If the Catholic are called the church, and they mean that it is simbahan in Tagalog, then we will call the Catholics a simbahan. And they still go to the simbahan, they call it in simbahan in Quiapo. So that is already a wrong interpretation, wrong translation. Then most of the Catholic will say that the true church, ang tunay na simbahan na itinayo ni Jesus ay Katoliko. We do not even know the word simbahan, which means a structure, the building, and they refer it also to the dictionary to mean also church. So which is which? The church means people. And even in the dictionary, it means church. And they do not know the church means people of God, not the building. So their translation, that tinayo na Jesus ay simbahan, mali na yun. That is erroneous. That is wrong. So do not insist. That's why I'm not questioning now the ministers of the Roman Catholic Church. They do not know how to interpret their own Bible. That's the truth. I do not have to apologize for that one. Because that's the truth. Because your interpreting, your explanation is erroneous. It's awkward. You want to mean that the simbahang Katoliko, dapat ang simbahang Katoliko, ang simbahang itinayo ni Jesus. No. You are just spreading lies to the people without you knowing, telling the people that the word simbahan has it's not taken from the original context from Hebrew language. Even in the English language, because the church means people, not a structure building. It's correct that you have the church there. The meaning of the simbahan in English is church. And how come the church become Tagalog simbahan, which means structural building? And if you are going to associate it with you as Catholics, then I will call you simbahan in Tagalog. And it is awkward. Ang mga Katoliko ay mga simbahan. You see? You already have this erroneous doctrine that is a height of absurdity to translate the church to mean in Tagalog simbahan. Simbahan means building. If you Catholic, if church means people, then I will call you Catholics as simbahan. You see, you did not study your own Bible because your ministers in the Catholic Church do not know how to interpret their own Bible. They just know how to read, but they do not know how to understand it. Many things, even the application of the law, they are interpreting. The reason why I'm telling this straightforwardly, that they do not know how to interpret their Bible because their interpretation is based on exegetical interpretation. Their interpretation is to to make their interpretation or to make the law of Jesus Christ, of the covenant, subservient of their own reasoning and wisdom, so that people will follow them instead of people following their own Bible. Their interpretation directly contradicts their own Bible. The interpretation is good as long as you enforce or make people obey the commandments of Jesus. And they interpret making their own commandments against the commandments of Jesus, just like in the typical example that I have been telling you or setting, so that you will know, even in prayer. Jesus said that you only call the name of the Father and and you are calling many names. And you said, you said there are already souls in heaven, and even if I do not accept it actually, even if there is just granting without accepting that there are really saints in heaven, Jesus in the Bible did not say to call their names. Even the names of the angels who are greater than the saints, even the names of the elders who are greater than the saints, and all the creatures in heaven are greater than the saints. You see, you are not trying to raise the banner of your religious group without knowing that your group is already going against the teachings of Jesus, your own Bible. You read the Bible, but Jesus said, other than knowing the Bible, you have to obey His commandments. And you do not. Obviously, because I was a Catholic too. I'm a living witness. I have been a living witness for that. And you too. That's why you keep on telling that your religious minister, sorry to compare this. Your religious minister, because I'm also comparing your religious ministers to those Israelites, disciples sent by Jesus. They can never equal with the wisdom that the Israelites, disciples of Jesus, these religious ministers of the Catholic, the so-called church. I cannot even call them church. Why? The word church in the Bible refers to Christians. It's there. Church refers to Christians, and how come this Catholic call them church? Well, in fact, in the Bible, church are Christians, and it's obvious that you cannot stand the point, or you cannot prove that you are Christians. The commandments that you follow are not Christians. Are not from Jesus. Do you want me to cite many examples of that one, other than praying to, other than praying to call the name of the Father alone? There were in the commandments also that you have to baptize the infants. You're using the Bible, it's different from the interpretation is awkward just to let the Bible follow their own preconceived reasoning, preconceived belief. That is human wisdom. A belief not influenced by Jesus, not biblically influenced by Jesus. They want the Bible to be below them instead of exhorting the words of God above them for them to obey and follow. No. The religious ministers, I'm telling this because Jesus said, the blind leading the blind, both shall fall into pit. So, if you are following the blind, meaning those who do not know the wisdom, the interpretation of the Bible, no, I would say, based on my biblical knowledge, that the ministers of the Roman Catholic Church, they do not know how to interpret the Bible correctly. It is stated in the Bible that you have to study and rightly dividing the word of truth. Let me check. That is in 2 Timothy 2:15. 2 Timothy 2:15 says that you have to study rightly dividing the word of truth. How can you be rightly dividing the word of truth if you're already going against the express commandments of Jesus? Remember that the commandments of Jesus, that is actually the new covenant promised by God to the Israelites nation, not to us. We are just the secondary recipient of the... hold on. Somebody knocks at my door. It says you have to rightly dividing, to divide the word of truth. Meaning you have to interpret it. You study how to interpret. And your interpretation is wrong if you are not rightly dividing, if you are not dividing the word of truth properly. Meaning the word of truth, it is the biblical words. Especially the commandments, and focusing about the commandments of God. Now, you keep on interpreting many things, but you do not pay attention to interpreting or explaining, because the other words of interpretation, explaining the commandments of God. So it is not prohibited to explain the commandments of God. Just like in our law, even lawyers, even justices, the ministers of the law, chief justices, and all of them, they interpret the law. They explain it. It seems true with the Bible. We're explaining the law here. And how come when you explain, you're explaining something to make your invented law supersede the revealed law of Jesus, which is called the New Covenant. The covenant are meant primarily, was meant primarily for Israelites, because Jesus said, I've come for the lost sheep of Israel. So you see, he came for the lost sheep of Israel. So it's not really primarily for the Romans, not for Filipinos, not primarily for other nationalities, but mainly, primarily for the Israelites. That's why the new covenant was made, the promise of the new covenant for Israelite, because it is from Isaiah 31 verse 31. You can read it there, that the new covenant, God said, I will make different from the old covenant that He gave to the Israelites before, when He delivered the Israelites from the hand of the Egyptian rulers, and He gave them covenant, and that covenant was also meant for Israelites. And here comes Jeremiah, another prophet, an Israelite prophet. Moses is also an Israelite prophet. Jeremiah is telling of another, wrote of another prophecy. The Lord said that I will make a new covenant for the house of Judah and the house of Israel. Remember, the two kingdoms were divided during that time. Though the Israelites were divided, their tribe were divided into kingdoms. The kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judah. The kingdom of Judah composed of the tribe of Judah and Benjamin, and the rest, the kingdom of Israel, composed of the other 10 tribes. So they were divided into a kingdom before. So that's why when Jesus came, the covenant was also revealed. It was that point in time that also the kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judah was also divided. Only now that the Israelite nation gained their independence and integrity as one nation called Israel. That already include Judah and all tribes of Israel. That's why it's called now Israel as one nation for today, the modern times. But back in that days, during the 1st century AD, it was still two kingdoms divided. That's why there is a prophecy that a seed from David, from the Jew, or from Judah will rise. That's why Jesus was, that seed was made to, that seed came to reality as prophesied, and that was in the 1st century AD, referring to Jesus Christ. Now, that is exactly what I mean. The Catholic religious ministers are not interpreting the law or the covenant of God, or Jesus, who is the mediator of God, correctly. They made many laws against the law. And you will know that they are not really dividing the word of truth, because it obviously destroys the original commandments of Jesus. And I'm going to tell you what are those. Specifically, the most common when they pray, calling many humans, even angels. Because I was a Catholic, I also called angels then. They have so many names they call. And there is no express mention or even a slightest mention in the Bible under the new covenant, first received by the Israelites and were written also by the Israelites, that they had to call the names of humans in prayer. Nothing. Even if the Catholic insists, just accepting, just um, let's say, granting without accepting that there are really humans already in heaven. Still, there is no slightest mention. They have to call their names. Even only Jesus said is very expressed in Matthew chapter 6 verses 6 to 9 that you have to call the name of the Father who is in heaven. Holy be our Father who is in heaven, holy be your name, your kingdom come, your will be not done. Whose name? And Jesus said, call him, the Father that you cannot see, but can see you even in you are in secret. Even your secrets, he can see you. And anything that you have in your heart, he knows before you speak it out, or speak it, or before you say it. And no spirit, especially in angels who are far away, can hear prayers. Only God. That's why the religious ministers, your Catholic religious ministers, do not know how to interpret their own Bible. They just know how to read. That's why they struggle to use philosophy, because they cannot understand the Bible. They just want to use logic, because when they take to study the Bible, they cannot understand it. If they did, they should have teach you the right teachings of God. They should have teach you, or they should have taught you the Bible correctly. They should have taught you the law correctly and minister it and apply it to the Catholics. Even the word Catholics is not the term that is used to refer to Christians, to the church of to those who are members of the church. In the Bible, it is called Christians. The noun Catholic is an adjective. Now you ask, there are a lot of Catholics. There are universal, meaning Catholic, universal evil and universal good. There were already universal Christians then, and there were also universal Antichrist. If you are referring to the Catholics, it doesn't refer to the Romans alone. Catholic could mean because it's an adjective, could describe of object or things or people that are Catholics before or universal before. Even there is called universal lie, and there is also called universal truth. So, if I were you, Catholics, if I was able to do it, and there is no way you cannot do it, you just study your own Bible, and try also to investigate if the Roman Catholic, if this is the best, the Roman Catholic ministers are ministering or interpreting your own Bible correctly. This is the secret. Try to be oriented with the commandments of Jesus first, because that is the most important thing you must know in knowing the true Jesus and the true disciples of Jesus. They revolve around the commandments, because we cannot see Jesus right now. We cannot see also his Israelites disciples right now. There is no way we can know them except reading what they have written. And we cannot now dispute or question what they have written, because even the Catholics already admit that those writings in the Bible originated, especially the New Testament commandments or the New Covenant, originated from Jesus, and the writers, the Israelite disciples of Jesus who wrote them. So, it's no longer hard for us to know. Now, you will know, Jesus said, them, if they will bear false witnesses, that will make, or lies, that will make man dirty or unclean. Because the words of God, or the commandment, it is called Holy Commandment. Once you believe and follow it, it will free you from sin. Just like what Jesus said, that if you remain in my words, you will be my true disciples indeed, and you will no longer a slave of sins, but you are already freed. The truth shall set you free. What truth? The biblical truth. You focus on the commandment, because that is the way, the truth, and the life towards God, towards Jesus. You can never be connected, bound to Jesus. You said that Peter was also called by Jesus to bind the people on earth as it is in heaven. And how can be bound by Peter if you do not follow the commandments written by Peter and all other disciples? Because it was not only Peter who were told by Jesus to do that. Even the disciples, Jesus said, teach all the commandments that I have given to you. So those are the binding means for people to be with Jesus and people to be with same faith of those who wrote it, referring to his Israelites disciples. Now, you keep on asking, why? Until now, you do not know how to read the commandments of Jesus? That is the very important thing. It's even Paul said, it is even Paul who said, that all the righteousness, the good works of man, through the Holy Scripture in believing Jesus, are already there. And I have to read that. And that is in 1 Timothy 3, verse 15. 16. Let me check. Let's hold on. Somebody asked for a stuff, so I gave her. So let me check. Let me go back to my position, and that every good works are already provided in the Scripture as long as you believe in Jesus Christ. Because if you're just believing all the Scriptures, not all the written in the Scriptures are the commandments of Jesus. So, let's go to the new covenant, the covenant written by his disciple. And Paul said, one of his disciples, called by Jesus himself, ang lahat ng mga kasulatan na kinasihan ng Diyos ay sa papakinabang din naman sa pagtuturo, sa pagsasansala, sa pagsaway, sa ikatututo ng mga ikatuto na nasa katuwiran, upang ang tao ng Diyos ay maging sakdal, tinuruang lubos sa lahat ng mga gawang mabuti. So, nandito pala. Pero bago yan, nasa 15. At mula sa pagkasanggol ay iyong nalaman ang mga banal na kasulatan na pagkadunong sa inyong sa ikaligtas sa pamagitan ng panampalataya kay Jesus. So, in short, yung kasulatan pala, nagbigay ng karunungan para paniwalaan natin si Jesus. Na ang lahat ng yun, ng kasulatan na yun, nagre-reflect din to sa atin ngayon. It's foreordained for us because it was written exactly for us because we will be dying. The disciples are bound to die, or were bound to die. They are bound by death. That's why they wrote it. So in short, we have to believe Jesus, and now all that they have written, the covenants, are exactly complete as the basis of holiness. Nothing lacking. That's why Jesus said, teach all my commandments to all nations. Not only teach, but make them obey. Is that what your ministers in the Roman Catholic Church are doing? Were you able to obey the commandments of Jesus? All. That includes prayer. Which is very important because every day you do it. Calling the names. Kneeling before somebody and calling their names with religious images, the names of created beings, not the Creator. Created beings who cannot hear your prayers. Even if we say granting without accepting that here in heaven, still there is no slightest mention. And you people, you say, oh, it's not prohibited. You say it's not prohibited. Because there is no word for word that is prohibited. But how about Jesus said, also use your mind, understand it. This is it. Jesus said, call your Father in heaven. And that is the only name you have to call. No other names. And now here comes the religious minister of the Catholic Church, supported by their members. Oh, there is no prohibition. Let's say, if there is no prohibition, indirectly. And they teach to call humans in prayers. Now, I have questions. The names of humans. What is the right thing to do that Jesus said? Call the name of the Father. Okay, call the name. So that is the right thing to do. Jesus never said, call the names of humans. So, what is correct? Call the name of the Father. So in short, calling the names of humans is already wrong. And what is wrong is prohibited. It is sinful. It is not correct. It is not right. If you follow it, obey, it's not right. So that's why, necessarily, you don't have to follow that, because the correct thing that you have to do is calling the name of God or the name of the Father in prayer. So that is the correct thing. So logically, calling the name of the humans is not correct because it is not taught by Jesus. It was not taught by Jesus. So in short, if it is not correct, you prohibit it to your members to do it. Why? Impliedly, using understanding, that is not the commandment of Jesus. If you do that, you will no longer following the commandments of Jesus. If you do not follow the commandments of Jesus, if you go against it, it will make you right away that one of the children of Satan, or it makes Satan your father. And I will read it also in John 8, verse 43. You see? This is one proving that your religious ministers do not know how to interpret correctly the law of Jesus, the new covenant. That's why they keep on going back to whole of the Bible without focusing on the commandments of Jesus. Okay? Here, John 8, verse 43. Here it says, bakit hindi mga unawa ang aking pananalita? So in short, kailangan pala pang unawa. Hindi nyo maunawa eh. Ano pa? Sapagkat hindi nyo mangyaring dinggin ang aking salita. Hindi nyo rin dinggin. Sinulat ng, yun, wala naman si Jesus ngayon, di ba? Hindi natin siya marinig. Hindi na siya nagsalita, pero nakasulat. So ganun pa rin. As if nandito si Jesus. Parang ayaw nyo dinggin, ayaw nyo paniwalaan ang aking salita. Kayo'y sa inyong amang diablo, na hindi pumapanig sa katotohanan kahit kailan. Kung kayo'y sa Diyos, makikinig kayo sa salita ng Diyos. Hindi kayo nakikinig dahil hindi kayo sa Diyos. Nasa Biblia yan. Tamang interpretasyon yan eh. Hindi kayo nakikinig, kayo kinakatuparan. Una, natupad sa mga Hudyo na ay maniwala kay Jesus. Pero yung ibang Hudyo naniwala sa kanya, naging disipulo niya. Kausap niya dito, yung mga hindi naniwala sa kanyang Hudyo. Kung nandito si Jesus ngayon, may mga Romano, may mga Pilipinong mga Katoliko, hindi rin naniwala, kasali kayo ngayon. Hindi naman natapos doon ang hatol eh. Hanggang sa walang hanggan yan, si Jesus pa rin ang hatol. At nakasulat ng kanyang mga salita. At sinabi ni Jesus, kung sinong din naniwala sa kanyang salita, yun din ang salita niya, ang hatol, pagdating ng panahon. At basahin naman natin sa John 12. Meron kasi nag-iba dito, kailangan ko rin in-notes yung sasabihin ko. Ba't ako mag-notes? Gusto ko ang topic, ang kailangan dyan, nasa John 3, kung anong gabay ng Espiritu sa iyo, yun sasabihin mo. Pag nag-notes ka kasi, para kasi, paano kung may paggusto pang pasasabi sa iyo, mayroon ka pang gustong sasabihin, inspired by the Spirit. So, pwede. Nandito naman sa Biblia, ba't mag-notes pa ako? Kayo dapat ang mag-notes. Kasi hindi nyo binabasa. Ito, John 8:12. Ang dami nitong Biblia, mag-notes ako, kopiyahin ko to lahat. Kukopiyahin ko tayo. Kung gusto ko, in-notes lahat yung gusto ni Jesus, lahat kukopiyahin ko rin to. Ang dami-dami nito, may Biblia na. 8:10. Kaya nga may Biblia eh. Basahin na lang eh. O ka mag-notes kayo, okay, karapatan nyo yan. Para hindi nyo makalimutan. At, nasa 12 tayo. Bakit napunta sa 8? Sinabi ni Jesus, sa 12. Mag-umpisa tayo sa 45. 46. Ako'y naparito ng isang ilaw sa sanlibutan. Sabi ni Jesus Ito'y Juan 12, John chapter 12, verse 45 o 46. Ako'y naparito sa isang sanlibutan na ilaw upang ang sino mang sumasampalataya sa akin ay huwag manatili sa kadiliman. Maniwala ka na lang doon sa nakasulat. Wala na nga si Jesus nakasulat na yung mga turo eh. Kaya sasampalataya tayo ngayon. Noon, narinig natin narinig nila si Jesus. Tayo hindi natin literally. Sinulat nga ng mga disipulo. Kaya ito ngayon, Ulitin natin sinabi ni Jesus na mapakinggan din natin ngayon kung kinig kayo ngayon sa pinagsasabi ko at kung babasahin nyo rin. Ako'y naparito na isang ilaw sa sanlibutan upang ang kung ilaw si Jesus noon, hanggang ngayon ilaw pa rin siya. Upang ang sinumang sumasampalataya, mga Hudyo, mga Romano, mga Pilipino, mga pare ninyo, niniwala sa kasino mang sampas sa akin ay huwag manatili sa kadiliman. Ano ito? Tingnan natin kung kautusan ba ito. Tingnan na ha. At kung ang sino mang, ano bang sampalatan, at kung sino mang tao ay nakinig sa aking mga pananalita, tingnan natin kung kautusan ba to. At hindi iniingatan, ay hindi ko siya hinahatulan sa ngayon, sapagkat hindi pa ko narito para humatol ng sanlibutan. Ibig sabihin, hindi pa niya papatayin. Pero may hatol na tungkol sa tama at mali, mababasa natin sa ibang talata. Undi upang iligtas ang sanlibutan. Paano iligtas? Sa mga utos din ito, tingnan natin to sa kamatayan ng kaligtasan. Ang nagtatakwil sa akin at hindi tumatanggap sa aking pananalita, yan mahalaga, ay mayroon isang hatol sa kanya. Mga utos ba ito? Ang salitang aking sinatalita ay siyang kanyang hahatol sa huling araw. Ano itong salita na ito? Sapagkat ako'y hindi nagsasalita ng mula sa aking sarili, kundi ang Ama na sa akin ay nagsugo at siya nagbigay sa akin ng utos. Kung ano ang dapat kong sasabihin, yun pala. Kita nyo? Kung ano ang dapat kong sasalitain. At nalaman ko na ang kanyang utos ay buhay na walang hanggan, yun pala yung kaligtasan. At ang mga bagay na sinasalita ko ay ayon sa sinasabi sa akin gayon ko sinasalita. Yun pala yun. Ang hatol sa'yo pag hindi ka naniwala. Pag balang araw, hindi mo sinusunod. Kahit sabi, Panginoon, hindi mo sinusunod. Sino Panginoon mo? Mga papa nyo sa Roma, mga ministro nyo, na halata talagang sa mga false Christ. Bakit? May hatol ng Biblia. Ang ibang nagtuturo sa kanyang panalita, hahatulan din naman sila. Hindi palang kamatayan, pero pagdating sa mali, ay sinabi rin na Jesus sa ibang talata. Tingnan natin. Nang hindi naniwala kay Jesus, hinahatulan na rin sila. At may hatol na kasi Jesus Kung binasa ko yung 8 kanina, sa 43, ang hindi matanggap ng kanyang panalita sa diablo. O babasahin ko ba uli yun? Yan ang hatol. May hatol palang dalawa. May hatol sa kamatayan, may hatol sa katuwiran naman. Halimbawa, di ka naniwala kayo. Yun ang matuwid na hatol. Kayo samang diablo. Pag hindi ko sinasabi, hindi matuwid na hatol yun. Nagsisinungaling ako. So, ganun dapat. Titingnan nyo na sana yung mga, huwag kayo magpaniwala agad na sinasabi, ang galing nila mag-interpreta. Na Biblia, hindi na alam interpreta to. Dapat, nasunod nyo ng mga utos ni Jesus. Dapat ganun ang mag-interpreta. Tingnan mo, nag-aral ng napunta pa sa Roma, ilang beses na mga nobenang ginagawa nila, mga theology na hanggang ngayon, nila alam yung Biblia i-interpreta. Bakit? Kung alam sana, nasunod din ang utos niya. Matagal na pa nakasulat pala yung Matthew 6. Verse 6. Basahin natin ha. Tingnan ko, pinasunod ba ito talaga ng mga papay. Nakita nyo nga sa preamble ng Constitution, tama Sila rin gumawa ng Katoliko din yan. Mga Katoliko din naman gumawa niyan ng Constitution na yan Di ba? We, the sovereign Filipino people, imploring the aid of Almighty God. Yun lang palang tatawagin Ba't tumatawag na rin kayo? Mayroon tatawag yung tao. Pangalan ng mga tao. Kaya ako, masabi kong direktahan sa inyo, na pagdating sa interpretasyon ng relihiyong napakahalaga sa lahat, yung batas ni Jesus, hindi alam i-interpreta ng mga pawag kayo maniwala ng mga theology nila. Hindi kayo maliligtas sa theology. Maliligtas kayo, sabi ni Jesus nung binasa ko kanina, hahatulan kayo ng kanyang kautusan. Hindi kayo tahatulan sa theology nila. At ang bagay na kanyang sinalatin ng unang sasampalatayan, sinulat na nga ng mga disipulo na inutusan niya. At maliwanag sinabi ni Juan, basahin natin sinabi ni Juan na hindi naman ipinaliwanag sa inyo ng pare, ang mga ministro nyo. Tawag nyo mga pare, mga papa sa Roma. Tingnan natin. Basahin natin yung sinabi ni Juan na Israelita na nakatanggap din ng unang nakatanggap. Sila kasi una talaga nakatanggap ng covenant ni Jesus. Anong sabi ni Juan? Yaong buhat sa pasimula, yaong aming narinig, yaong nakita ng aming mga mata, yaong aming namasdan at nahipo ng aming mga kamay, tungkol sa salita ng buhay. At ang buhay ay nahayag at aming nakita at pinatutuhanan at Sa inyo'y aming ibinalita ang buhay na walang hanggan na kasama ang Ama at sa atin ay nahayag. Yaong aming nakita, narinig, ay siya rin namin ibinalita sa inyo upang kayo naman ay magkaroon ng pakikisama sa amin. Oo, at tayo makikisama sa Ama sa kanyang anak na si Jesucristo. At ang mga bagay na ito'y aming isinulat upang ang ating kagalakan ay malubos. At ito ang pasabing aming narinig sa Kanya at sa inyo'y aming ibinat na ang Diyos ay ilaw at sa Kanya walang anumang kadiliman. Yun pala eh. Sinulat. Para magkaroon tayo ng liwanag. Kaya so din natin kailangan pang makikinig sa mga ministro na alam mo namang may Biblia na pala eh. Para ikaw magkatanggap ng liwanag. Huwag kayo maniwala sa mga interpretasyon nila na kailangan para mag-umpisa kay Pedro na kailangan may mga tao pang sunod-sunod. Yan ang purpose ng nakabasa na kasulat. Kaya pala isinulat ni Juan yan para magkaroon tayo ng kagalakan at maroon tayo ng pakikisama. Ano ibig sabihin ng pakikisama? What is meant by the word pakikisama? That is fellowship or connection with Jesus. True daw. Because Jesus is no longer around with us as long as His disciples. So, His words were written by His witnesses who were born during His times. During His time in the 1st century AD. And they were Israelites who received the covenant as promised by God, as can be read in the book of Jeremiah 31 verse 31. You see? I have to be very straightforward for this because nobody will tell you straightforward. That the religious Catholic ministers do not know how to interpret the law of Jesus correctly. Their interpretation is in contravention with the commandments of Jesus. They are trying to interpret the Bible to people to believe their newfound commandments that were not received by the Israelites as promised in Jeremiah 31:31, that the new covenant as promised by God will be for the Judah and Israelites, meaning the 12 tribes of Israel, because during the time the kingdom were divided into two, but now they have one integrity as nation now in our modern time as one Israel, as one nation called Israel. It's not the Romans. All we need to do is go back to the Israelites because the Romans did not receive that covenant. We will only be receiving that covenant if you will believe on those covenants received by the Israelites. And these Roman people, they called Catholic minister, they're inventing new, contrary to the new covenant. Covenant means the will of God. It expresses different commandments. Just like the covenant God made during the time of Moses, it contains many commandments, especially the 10 commandments. And it is also readable in the Bible. Just for comparison. So the covenant that we have right now, biblically speaking, is a covenant that was revealed in the 1st century AD to the Israelites. And that is already complete. All we need to do, we have to stick to that covenant received by the Israelites. And all of it is only for the Israelites. Why make another law that is not given by Jesus as the mediator, who is also an Israelite? Moses was an Israelite, the mediator of the Old Covenant. Jesus was also an Israelite, from the tribe of Judah, the mediator also of the covenant for the tribe of Judah and the tribe of Israel. And your Catholic ministers now, it's very obvious because I was also Catholic. There are many laws they made that is no longer part of the new covenant. That's why Jesus said, if you do not believe in me, the word that I said, what are that word? It refers to His commandments. Everything that I heard, I speak, are from the fathers, and these are the commandments. So it's very express. It's really the commandment. And who first received the commandment? All of it, the new covenant, the Israelites in the 1st century AD, before the existence of the Roman popes. So it's already received. Otherwise, the prophecy of the new covenant, as can be read in Jeremiah 31 verse 31, cannot be made to be cannot come to reality, or could not come to reality, or could not be realized, because the Romans, the Catholic ministers, are no longer Israelites. How could the covenant received by them, the new covenant, was promised to the tribe of Judah? And the tribe of Israel, now as a whole, they are called Israel as a one nation. Unlike before, they are divided into kingdoms. They were divided, I mean. Now, as a whole, they are now, their political entity is as one nation. One government, one Israel. They are no longer divided. I have to read this again. That we really have to believe not only the name of Jesus, but His commandments. Because if you will not obey His commandments, the same commandments will be the basis of your judgment for your sin. Remember in 1 John 3:4 that the disobedience of the commandments of Jesus means sin. I have to read it, 1 John 3:4 in Tagalog. See, I did not study 4 years in Rome theology, but I was able to explain. Why? Because I believe the Bible alone. Because this is where all the commandments in the new covenants are written. Written by the Israelites. And those people who were able to see who were able to see the Christians before in the first century AD, taught also by Israelites. Let us see. 1 John 3:4. Alright? In Tagalog, ang sino mang gumawa ng kasalanan ay nagsasalangsang din naman sa kautusan. Ang kasalanan ay pagsasalangsang sa kautusan. Ibig sabihin, violation. 1 John 3:4. Anong kautusan? Di kay Jesus. Anong kautusan? The New Covenant. Hindi sa Old Covenant. Ang nagsasalangsang ka, pag ayaw mo sumunod kay Jesus sa New Covenant, yun kasi sakop tayo ng New Covenant, si Jesus ang mediator. Kaya nga may mediator, siya ngayon ang mamagitan. He is the mediator. So we are under the Israelite covenant. Being Jesus was the Israelite originally, and the writers are also Israelites. And then Jesus said that the kingdom is open to all nations. No more Jew, no more Israelites, no more Greek, everybody. Which means that with this Israelite law, it already opened that all, even not Israelite, non-Israel, excluding us Filipinos, are already welcome to believe and obey Jesus, so that we'll also obtain or get the promise of salvation. And we will also obtain the promise of forgiveness, because without the covenant of Jesus shed by His own blood, if we do not, which is strengthened by the blood He shed on the cross, we will have the Israelites would have no new covenant, and also us right now. You see, the religious Catholic ministers, I am telling this based on the biblical. I know for a fact, it's not only a belief, I can prove that they do not know how to interpret the Bible, even if they studied theology. Why? They did not enforce the biblical law of Jesus. Again, very important that I have to read. What is this word that Jesus said to us? First to the Israelites, His disciples, in John 12. This is very important. From 45, before I close this video, from 46. Ako'y naparito ng isang ilaw. John 12, chapter 12, verse 46, starting up to 50. Ako'y naparito na isang ilaw ng sanlibutan, upang ang sino mang sumasampalataya paano siya sampalataya? Ang tanong, sa akin ay huwag manatili sa kadiliman. At kung sino mang tao ay nakinig sa aking panalita at hindi iningatan, pananalita pala itong dapat sampalatayan, ay hindi ko siya hinahatulan ng kamatayan. Ibig sabihin ito, pero sa katuwiran, hatulan ka kung masama ka hindi, sapagkat hindi ako naparito upang humatol sa sanlibutan, ibig sabihin ng kamatayan, kundi upang iligtas sa sanlibutan. Ano pala itong kamatayan? Yung kasalanan. Paano ka naman iligtas niya mula sa kasalanan? Ibig sabihin, sa katuwiran, tuturuan ka ng tama para di ka magkamali-mali o magkakasala. Okay? Kundi upang iligtas siya ang nagtatakwil sa akin sa pangalan ni Jesus. At Kahit pala tinanggap mong pangalan ni Jesus, pero tinakwil mo naman yung mga salita niya. Ang nagtatakwil sa akin at hindi tumanggap sa aking mga pananalita, dalawa pala to eh. Yung nagtatakwil sa kanya at hindi naman tumatanggap sa kanyang pananalita, pareho pala ay mayroong isang hatol sa kanya. Sa darating to ang salitang aking sinalita ay siya kanilang hahatol sa huling araw. Ano ito? Sapagkat ako'y hindi nagsasalita na mula sa aking sarili, kundi ang Ama na sa akin nagsugo. Ano pala ito? Yung sinasabi ni Jesus na nagsasalita siya, na sinugo siya ng Ama, ay siyang nagbibigay sa akin ng utos. Pinaliwanag naman pala ni Jesus kung ano ang dapat kong sabihin at kung ano ang dapat kong salitain. Yan pala. At nalalaman ko na ang kanyang utos, ito pala yung salita ni Jesus, ay buhay na walang, yun pala, mailigtas ka sa kasalanan, buhay na walang hanggan, kapahamakan na hatol. Ang mga bagay na sinasalita ko ay ayon sa sinabi sa akin ng Ama. Ayon ko sinasalita. Mga utos din. Pinatupad ba ngayon? Isa na doon, yung tabag ni Jesus na sa Ama lang tawagin manalangin ng mga ministro nyo na nag-aral na ng mga theology. Ganun kasi kayo Ang akala nyo, nag-aral na ng theology, hindi nyo tinitingnan yung Biblia. Dapat yung nag-aral ng Biblia talaga. Sabi nyo, nag-aral sila ng Biblia. Ba't nila napaliwanag ng maayos ang Biblia? Bakit? Naligaw na sila mas pa sa pag-utos. Sila mismo nag-interpret naligaw na sa mga utos ni Jesus. Paano pa ngayon papatupad yung mga utos ni Jesus na sinusunod nyo? Ligaw na rin kayo. Kaya sabi nga ni Jesus, sino mang bulag na nag-aakay ng bulag, kapwa mahulog sa hukay. A blind who leads the blind, both shall fall into the pit. So that is the end of this episode. That is just in response to the belief of the Roman Catholic member who want to insist to contend with me. They're telling me that as if they said that you should believe the priest because they know how to interpret. They were the ones, the authority to interpret the Bible. Well, in fact, in the Bible, it is God who gave you the understanding to interpret. And you will know, if you are from God, interpreting the law, if you speak the words of God, I speak the commandments of Jesus to be obeyed. Let us see. John 6 or John 3? Right, 1 John 3:4. Now, this is how. I'm using the Bible alone. I wish that during if you gather in your church or simbahan, you call it your simbahan, church, the building, then you have to ask your priest or minister, father. You call it father or minister. You don't call them father because no one is allowed to receive the title of religion in the church. That is also one of the commandments of Jesus, that you call no man anything, even rabbi, because you only have one father in heaven. Okay? Let us read this. John 3:34. Okay? Sapagkat ang sinugo ng Diyos ay nagsasalita ng kanyang mga salita ng Diyos, sapagkat hindi niya ibinigay ang Espiritu sa pamagitan ng sukat. Sapagkat hindi niya ibinibigay ang Espiritu sa pamagitan ng sukat. Sinisinta ng Ama ang anak at inilagay sa kanyang kamay ang lahat ng mga bagay. So, si Jesus pala ang dapat natin pamantayan, na talaga sugo ng Diyos. At sino man daw sugo ng Diyos, nagsasalita ng mga salita ng Diyos. Mga disipulo, sugo rin ng Diyos yun hindi naman si Jesus. Nagsasalita sila ng mga salita rin ng Diyos, mga utos ni Jesus. Kung ako ngayon nagsasalita, at mga pare nyo nagsasalita, dapat sila ministro. Pero kung labag na sinasabi, mga interpaliwanag na sa sinasabi ni Jesus, itakwil nyo na. Mabasa rin naman yan sa nyo yung mga pare nyo ministro, yan ang mga heretics Basahin nyo ang Joy Reigns version na Catholic. Yan ang iwasan nyo. Nag-aaral pala sila ng mga kautusan nag-aaral pala sila ng labag sa kautusan ni Jesus. Tawag yan talagang tunay sa Biblia. Ang mga heretics, di nila maintindihan kung sinong heretics, di nila may paliwanag yan. Tanungin sa mga pare kung sino mga heretics. Paliwanag ko kung sino mga heretics. Sila yan Mga ministro nyo ang heretics. Mga utos ni Jesus, nilalabanan nila. Yan ang tunay na heretics. At sa inyo kasi, ang heretics kasi sa inyo, lumalaban sa mga Katoliko, yan ang mali. At pinatay nyo ang utos sa Biblia. Basahin nyo Catholic English First English Version na Joy Reigns. Yun ang First English Version nyo. Ang sabi doon, the heretics must be admonished, paalalahanan ng isa, dalawang beses. Pag pangatlo, iwasan nyo na. In English, Admonish them, first and the second and the third time, avoid them. Sa inyo, kill na agad. Pinatay nyo. Kaya kayo heretics. Hindi utos kasi ni Jesus sa unang covenant. Mali ang pagka-interpret nyo na naman sa paliwanag ng biblical. Siyang utos na isa sa malaking pagpaliwanag nyo, kaya hingi kayo ng sisi ngayon, kat alam nyo ng Biblia. Si Pablo nung pumatay, hindi pa niya alam yung mga utos ni Jesus eh. Ikayo, natanggap nyo na palang utos ni Jesus. Galing sa Espiritu Santo yan, kahit nung nabuhay pa siya sa lupa, at nung makyat na siya sa langit, kasama niya Espiritu Santo, hindi nyo nilalabanan yun. Kahit alam nyo na may kopya ka sa Biblia sa Latin, bawal pumatay. Pinatpatayin nyo. Yan mga heretics. Ang utos pala, itakwil lang. Or kay, sabi ng Jewish version nyo na Catholic na hindi nyo ma-deny. Ano lang? Iwasan lang. Ba't nyo pinatay? Yan, mali kasi ang pag-interpreta sila ng Biblia. Hindi nila alam paano mag-interpreta ng mga utos ni Jesus. Kung laliman ko pa yan, lalo silang mamanmadiin eh. Meron kasing hula sa Biblia na may tawag si Jesus yung di makaalam ng kanyang mga kautusan eh. Ayaw ko munang go to that point. Yun lang gusto kong sasabihin na talagang di na alam. Kasabihin nilang alam nila. Tutulan nila. Biblia nila yung pabasa ko sa kanila. Yung tamang salin na mula sa Greek. So, kung may Greek sila nabasa yan, dilitaw rin nila Greek. Meron akong Greek. May Google ako. May Google Greek din ako. Idaan natin sa Google na Greek. I-Google mo, meron din doon. Hindi pa lalabas na tama yung interpretasyon. Kaya, unang-una, para malalaman mong tunay na iglesia, sabi ni Jesus, malaman sa puno at sa mga propeta. Yun kasi yung masasabi nating haligit-suhay ng iglesia. May puno, may haligi, mga turo ng mga propeta, mga apostolis niya. Sabi kasi niyo, mga apostolic church, baka ng mga apostolic church niyo, peking mga apostol yun. Peking Pedro, may peking Maria. Kasi ang tunay na Maria, hindi naman nagtuturo na manalangin ka sa kanya. Ang tunay na Pedro, hindi naman nagtuturo na bawal mag-asawa. Di ba? Ang Pedro nyo, yun daw pamantayan ng paniniwala ng mga papa sa Roma, bawal mag-asawa. Sabi ni Pedro mismo, papa sa Roma, sabi niya, papa sa Roma, may asawa eh. Nasa Biblia nyo. Tanong niyo sa akin yung talata, ako din alam. Siguro alam nyo na. So I have to close this. This is one way to prove the episode. Walang personalan. Gusto ko lang imalahad ng direktahan kung kanino ang hatol matupad. Kung palagay nyo ba, tutulan ninyo, may kalayaan kayo. Kaya nga nandito ako lumitaw ngayon. Tutulan nyo na mali ang pagkasabi ko na ang mga pare, tunay na nag-interpreta ng maayos sa Biblia, pinatupad ang utos ni Jesus. Yan ang tutulan nyo. At babasahin nyo ang Biblia nyo, babasahin ko rin Biblia nyo. Patunayan ko rin na hindi nga nyo pinapatupad. Mag-usap tayo sa mga utos. At ang mga pare, nagdagdag ng mga utos, sabihin nyo, mga papasaruban, sabihin nyo hindi. O kung halimbawa, sabi nyo, ay kasi ang Espiritu ng Diyos ay nagpatuloy na mga ngaro, o talaga tutuloy magpangaral hanggang ngayon. Pero ang pangangaral niya, hindi ka lalayo doon sa Biblia ng mga utos ni Jesus. Yun ang tipan eh. Sisirain ba, pinababa nga ng Espiritu, isinulat pa nga sa mga puso ng mga tao ng Espiritu ng Diyos yan eh. Nakatuparan, mga Israelita, disipulo ni Jesus. Pero sasabihin mo, may Espiritu ka. Tapos ngayon, ang mga nakasulat sa Biblia, isinulat ng mga sinulatan ng Espiritu ng Diyos, hindi sa bato, kundi sa puso, ay kinakalaban ng Espiritong sinabi niyo sa Diyos. Kaya mag-ingat ka sa mga bulaang propeta, mga bulaang Kristo. Masasabi ko rin, mga bulaang mga Espiritu, nakalagay rin kasi sa Biblia. Sinabi ni Juan sa 4. Babasahin natin sa Juan 4. Unang Juan 4. Bago ko tapusin ito, tingnan nyo. Maganda itong walang notes. Yun, ang aral naman yung mga disipulo ni Jesus. Di naman nag-notes eh. Pati si Jesus eh. Kung anong sasabihin lang ng Espiritu. Minsan nga, sabi ni Jesus, sinabi niya doon sa Lucas, huwag na kayo mag-anong sasabihin nyo. Basta ang sasabihin nyo, yung inspired by the Spirit. Bibigyan ko kayo ng Espiritu, ng karunungan. Ganun yun, isa ka Espiritu Santo. O unang Juan 4, tingnan natin kung totoo bang may mga bulaang Espiritu. Kasabi na yung sinabi nyo, may Espiritu Santo pala kayo. Titingnan natin kung talaga bang sakop dito. Sabi ni Juan, mga minamahal, huwag kayo maniwala sa bawat Espiritu. Yun mo. Kundi inyong subukin ang mga Espiritu kung sila'y sa Diyos. Sa Diyos daw. Subukin niyo kung sila'y sa Diyos sapagkat maraming magsilita ng mga bulaang propeta. Ang mga bulaang propeta, sasabihin nila mga Espiritu sila ng Diyos. Susubukin raw eh. Masusubok mo naman ngayon. May Biblia na. Subukan natin sa Biblia. na ito naman ito, sabi ni Pedro, inspired by the Spirit of God. Di ba ito na inspired by the Spirit of God? Isabi nyo kasi, mga propeta nyo, darating, magkaroon ng Espiritu ng Diyos. Isabi niyo, mga minahal, huwag kayo magsipaniwala sa bawat espiritu, kundi inyong subukin ang mga espiritu kung sila'y sa Diyos. Kasali pa yung sinabi nyo, Espiritu Santo ng Diyos. Meron daw sila, subukin din natin. Malalaman natin sa Biblia kung espiritu ba talaga ng Diyos. Tingnan natin karugtong ni Jesus na meron sila, sapagkat maraming magsilitaw ng mga bulaang propeta. Tingnan niyo, sabihin nila may espiritu sila. Kaya subukin, magkasubukan sa Biblia niyo mismo kung utos ba talaga na mismong sinulat ng espiritu ng Diyos ang kapareho sa mga Israelita na sumulat ng Biblia. Kapareho ba doon ang espiritong natanggap nyo na sinulat rin ng Juan? Kapareho ba sa mga utos nila? Ang kasunod sinabi na, dito'y makilala nyo ang Espiritu ng Diyos. Ang bawat Espiritong nagpahayag na si Hesus Kristo, isa na to, ay naparitong nasa laman ay sa Diyos. Isa na yan. Ang bawat Espiritong hindi nagsipahayag si Hesus ay hindi sa Diyos. At ito ang Antikristo na inyong narindarating. At ngayon, na nasa sanlibutan na, kayo'y sa Diyos, mumunti kong mga anak. Anak tawag niya, pero hindi naman tatay ang tawag talaga niya. Diba? Hindi siya pa nagpatawag na tatay sa titulo. Ako rin, tawag ko nga sa mga pamangkin ko. May anak din akong tawag eh. Pero di lang ako tinawag na tatay. May tatay sila eh. Dito sa ang tatay natin, ang Ama sa Langit, kaya magkaroon tayo ng espiritu sa Kanya. Kaya tawag na born again with the Spirit of God. Pero hindi ako yung born again na ngayon, ng mga grupo ngayon ha. Baka sabihin nyo, born again ako nakasama sa grupo na sinabi born again sila. Pero ang paniwala na, pangalan lang ni Jesus, ayaw nila sa utos. Mali yun. At gayoy, bawat espiritong hinihinda ni Jesus, kayo'y sa Diyos mumuti kong anak, at inyong dinaig sila sapagkat lalong dakila siyang nasa inyo kaysa mga sabat. Sila'y sa sanlibutan. Kaya tungkol sa sanlibutang sinasilatan nila, ay sila'y dinidig ng sanlibutan. May dumidinig talagang mga taga-sanlibutan sa kanila. Kaya talagang magsubok, manatili kayo sa amin, sabi ng disipulo. Tayo ngay sa Diyos. Ang nasa pagkakilala sa Diyos ay dumirinig sa atin. Sino ka atin? Kinuko sila. Mga disipulo. Tapos, ang hindi sa Diyos ay hindi dumidirig sa atin. Kaninong atin? Yung kagrupo nila nung una. Meron talagang grupo noon bago pa dumating itong mga sa unang siglo na mga ni Jesus, anak ng Diyos. Dito'y ating makilala ang espiritu ng katotohanan at ang espiritu ng kamalian. So, kung iba sa kanila, nung atin sinabi, mali na yun. Makilala mo ang katotohanan at kamalian. Kaya huwag kayo magpaniwala. May nagsinabi na ang espiritu ng Diyos nasa kanila. Tapos hindi nyo sinusubok. Malalaman mo ngayon, nakasulat, ang dapat daw sa Diyos na may espiritu, bumabalik sa mga sulat na mga, bumabalik doon sa mga alagad ni Jesus na mga Israelitang nakatanggap ng kanyang kakautusan na tinatawag ngayon na bagong tipan. Nakasulat, Israelita eh. Silang nauna, tapos ngayon, kung naniwala ka, wala na sila, wala si Jesus. Sabi ni Jesus, kasali na rin masakop sa kaharian niya at magkaroon ng kaligtasan, yung kahit di Israelita. Pero ang utos, si Jesus, tagapamagitan, Israelita talaga siya. Ang nationality niya. Ang mga disipulo, Israelita din. Pagdating sa kaligtasan, wala nang Israelita lang, lahat na. Wala nang Jew, wala na. Lahat pwede na. Pero ang batas, mula sa Israel. Kaya sabi nga ni Jesus, ang hari, siya ang maghari ng Israel. Ngayon, ang Jerusalem, mag-umpisa sa mga Hudyo, ang kaligtasan. So ngayon, kung gusto niyo patunayan na tama ang mga ministro yung Katoliko, patunayan niyo, sumunod sila sa Biblia mismo. At talaga bang nanatili sila doon sa dati? Kasi subukan daw ang espiritu. Ang espiritong sa Diyos, merong sa Diyos, makikinig sa kanila. Dahil sila nga naman yung nakatanggap ng covenant na promise ng 31:31 ng Isaiah na ang Huda at ang Israel ay maging isa, magkaroon ng bagong tipan. Sila na, at sinulatan ang kanilang mga puso. Israelita yun. At ang tagapamagitan na Israelita din si Jesus din. Kung ang tagapamagitan at ang batas nung una ay para sa Israelita at ang tagapamagitan Israelita din si Moises, pagdating naman sa Jeremias na si Jeremias ay Israelita din, darating din na para sa Israelita din ang mga una ang para sa Israelita yung batas na tatanggap nila. Lahi ni Huda at lahi ni Israel. Ibig sabihin, divided kasi ang kingdom noon. Sa Huda, Benjamin, lahi ni Benjamin at lahi ni Huda ang meron. Sa ibang tinawag na Israel, yung 10 lahi naman nasakop ng Israel. Ngayon, isang Israel na lang sila. In short, doon tayo babalik sa mga sulat. Doon na malalaman mo may espiritu ng Diyos na totoo. Kasi hindi nga lahat nagsasabing may espiritu. Kailangan subukin mo. Makilala mo yung may espiritu ng Diyos. Babalik sa kanila. Sabi mo sa atin makikinig. Kasali sila. Yung mga unang Kristiyano noon. Pag hindi ka na makikinig doon na ngayon mga Katoliko, mga ministrong Katoliko, ng mga utos, ibang theological law na tinuturo, katakot-takot sasabihin, banal daw ang pumatay ng mga heretics, sinunog nila. Sa Diablo yun, sabi ni Jesus. Na mamamatay tao kayo sa amang Diablo. Nung una pa lang, mamamatay tao na siya. Masubok mo na ngayon. Paano mo subukan? May pamantayan ka na ng Biblia. Hindi mo pwede subukan kung ikaw lang mag-isa. Kasama mo ang Diyos. Mga salita niya magtuturo sa iyo kung sino ngayon yung hindi nakatupad doon. So meron ka ng basihan. Hindi na matutulan yan. Ikarunungan ng Diyos ito eh. They cannot dispute it. Because this book is the basis of the judgment of God, of Jesus, to know what is wrong and what is right. So that ends my episode now. So if you have a violent reaction, we will make this page very, very productive. And I'm just telling you guys why I need to tell this, because I'm telling this not in the name of the Catholic Popes, but in the name of Jesus, who is above all angels and humans, including your popes and Catholic priests. The wisdom, the law that I'm teaching right now is the wisdom and the law from heaven, who is greater than the law, which is greater than the law and wisdom of your Catholic ministers. Thank you for watching and have a great day.